Welcome back to the Goddesses of Social Work podcast. I'm your host, Renita Ray Davis, and today's conversation is about what it actually means to move from good intentions to real impact, especially in spaces that serve young people. I'm really glad to welcome today's guest, Erika Perry, also known as Coach Perry. Erika is the owner of EP Enterprises and the founder of Youth Talk United. She works closely with youth serving organizations, coaches, and community leaders to build trauma aware, emotionally intelligent environments that truly center young people, not just in words, but in practice. She's also the voice of the YouTube channel Behind the Doer, where she pulls back the curtains on leadership, accountability, and what it looks like to actually live the change we talk about. Erika, I am so glad you are here.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for just allowing me to be a blessing on your platform.
Oh yes, when I think I posted about the 100th episode, and you were one of the ones who congratulated me on LinkedIn. And I was like, will you come on the podcast? And you immediately said yes.
Yes, most
And that,
definitely.
yeah, and that is how we are here. So thank you for saying yes. I sincerely mean
Mhm.
that. Erika, before we dive in, I'd love for you to introduce yourself in your own words and share what's been most present for you in your work and your leadership lately.
Yes, actually, I'm saying you guys, all of the amazing work that I do is most important with youth. Work with a lot of youth organizations. And in that aspect of working of youth organization, it's building emotional intelligent communities and organization has been something that I'm so profound on, something that I love doing. Just in my background of social work and psychology is all about making sure we are emotionally sound individuals in the work that we do. As I tell people, we can't walk without emotions. Emotions is the main aspect of everything that we do every day. So why not study it and become a master of making sure we understand who we are as people through our emotions so we can accomplish those things. So in kind of in a nutshell, I love to tell people emotions is my heart. That's what I love talking about. And it actually came back from, as they said, and I seen a young lady talked about this on Instagram. Sometimes we'll end up doing the things that everybody teases us about. All my growing up, I was told that I was just this emotional person. Mom, you're so emotional, Erica. Brothers and sisters, she always emotional. But we do a 360 now, and I get paid to speak about emotions because of that. And it was because I went through so many emotions as a young person and didn't know how to express those. But I always bottled things up, always was just crying. And I always felt things of other people, hence social work, that I always had the need to help or touch or reach someone emotionally. And now I do that and now understand. And now I'm just here in this world to help other people understand how emotions affect everything.
I love that, Erika. And as soon as you said you got teased for being emotional when you were little and now you get paid for it, I was thinking of all the different times I have told women, because I'm going to tell you this really quick story. It's not a story, really, it's just a theory I have. Those of us who, because I was one too, I still get teased for it. I still get teased for being
Yeah.
emotional. And I'm like, yep, I get paid to care. Literally, I get paid to care,
Right.
you know? And, but one of the things that I have learned in the therapy world of emotions is because of those women like you and me who were teased for being too sensitive, for being emotional, we learn to uh, oppress those emotions. But what ended
Yeah.
up happening is because those emotions were oppressed, when we were in legitimate danger, emotional danger, we didn't realize it, right? When someone was hurting us and or we were being taken advantage of or we were, but because we had oppressed those emotions, we didn't have the alarm systems that went off. And so we found ourselves in these situations. And so now those of us who have been teased and or bullied about being too emotional or being sensitive are having to rebuild that skill and or that
Right.
gift that was naturally, innately given to us so that we are able to set better boundaries now. And we're able to, I love what you said. Now you're teaching other people to express their emotions
Most definitely.
intelligently. Yeah,
Yeah, you have to, like you said, that we was taught that, so some of us suppressed it, and that was something that I did. I didn't want to hear that, oh, you're a crybaby or you're too emotional. And I also played sports all the way up into collegiate level, so kind of from middle school to collegiate, I really suppressed my emotions because I did want to be teased. I did want to be talked about. So I took it out on the court. I was just all out basketball player, defensive player, shout out myself to defensive player every year when I played sports because I took out that anger on that court and in sports. Thankfully, sports was there for other children, other young people. They may do it in some other form or fashion, but it should not have been that I suppressed my emotions in sports because I was so afraid of what people were saying, or and not only people, my family and friends were saying about me, that I didn't want to talk about my emotions. I felt as though I was a burden to people when I talked about my emotions. So that's definitely true, and the reason why I'm like, now no, express those emotions, say those things, because they can come up and build up sickness in you on that part of it. Like I literally will have migraines and stuff as a young age, and as I got older and started doing the work that I was doing, I was like, even though I played sports, a lot of my migraines and hurt came because I was hurt emotionally, and it turned into pain. So most definitely we have to express those.
absolutely. And I love because I use that word often too, emotional intelligence. And what ends up happening, like especially from 2, 3, 4 years old to the time that you start doing the work, because you didn't get the practice of
Hmm.
expressing your emotion, you feel stunted in saying, I feel sad, or I feel angry, because you pushed it down for so long. You don't know, your throat chakra doesn't know how to literally articulate what emotion you are experiencing. And so how are you cultivating an emotional intelligent environments in the youth centered space?
Definitely been a journey. It's been a journey for me because I always tell people anything that you're going to learn, anything that you're going to gain is going to take time. So just because I tell people I'm talking about, I'm doing training about emotional intelligence, doesn't mean you're going to change in 24 or 48 hours. It's something that you continue to adapt and you continue to grow into. So with the youth serving area, it was more even important and vital for me to understand emotions because our kids work and live and drive off of emotions. I always tell my youth leaders when I'm speaking with them, I always say, check your emotions at the door because they're not the kids going to check it before you check it. They come in the door already vibrating off emotions because that's how they are trained and that's how they live their life. If this crowd is hype, if this person is doing this, that I want to be around them. And it's the same way when they're coming into different rooms. Oh, she's happy this morning. She's energetic this morning. She's excited to see me. She's pumped up. Her emotions are good. I feel safe around her. I feel safe around him. So that is something that I feel is so profound. And I also did research with a lot of youth, asking them what is one of the biggest things that help them feel safe and want to be a part of our environments. And they said knowing that one a youth leader care, and also knowing that their emotions are in check, knowing that they are able to handle themselves. We know this generation, everything is funny, everything is wild, everything is crazy. So you gotta have some sort of sense of humor or laughter, something that makes them say, okay, I can talk to them, or hey, I can go to that adult about that. So having emotions is a center of everything that we do, especially with youth. You have to know and how, not only know but also understand how to self-regulate your emotions when you're coming into these spaces.
So what I heard you saying is what I tell my social workers: you got to do the work first.
Yeah,
You got to do the work first, and
yeah,
then you model that with the people that you're serving.
most definitely.
Yeah. Erica, when you sent me your bio, at the end, there was a mantra that I really liked. And you said it was your mantra, and it's, don't just talk about change, be a doer of the change you desire to see, which is kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, what was the moment you realized that just having a good intention, like I want to help these youth,
Mhm.
but not just having the good intentions of doing the work, but actually practicing what you preach. When did you realize that moment for yourself?
Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
came. I would truly say about 4 years ago, right out there, a little bit after COVID and everything was going on. And this has actually shaped the work that I do now. Right after COVID was going, and I was working at an agency for over 10 and a half years that I devoted my time and my life to since I was an intern. And COVID hit, and things kind of went sour because COVID funds started going to different places from the people that I was working with, and I started questioning, I started asking about those, and then words started being backfired at me about questioning it. But I got into social work not just to help people, but to do the right thing. And doing the right thing mean I had to speak up. And me speaking up ended up meaning that I spoke up on a Monday, Wednesday, I was fired. So I was let go from a job and with no other job security as COVID was going on. So I'm just going in my head like, Lord, what is this to do? I'm confused. I'm overwhelmed. This is all I've known these 10 and a half years. And not only all I know, but Lord, I'm doing your work. I'm doing your work. And you allowed me to get fired from my work that I was doing. So I struggled and I wrestled with that. Thankfully, I did have some savings and some things going on. So I was able to kind of stay afloat a little bit until then. And then it started getting into the depression and the overwhelmed moment. As they say, the helper needs help. I did have to start seeking a therapy and start seeing her. And she was amazing, still amazing seeing her. And as I'm laying in the bed, that mantra came along with my trademark, which is talkers versus doers. And God says, stop just talking about the change you want to see and be a doer of the change. You going to continue to sit in this pity about what's going on, or you going to do something about it. And it was a light switch that went on. And from there, James 1:22 and 25 also came up too. Don't just be ye a hearer, be a doer of the word. So it's like if you going to hear all this going on and you not going to do something, you was in the fire with it. Now I got you out the fire. Now you need to do something about it. So everything that you touch and you do, you gotta do it. You gotta mirror that. You gotta be the doer. Everything that you do and do it in the right way. So that's what that mantra came up. Don't just talk about change, be a doer of the change, because I went into an environment that I wanted to change. And even though when I became that doer, it allowed me, and I'm gonna say allowed me to get fired, I still did it and I was passionate about it. And everything I do now, I'm a door of a change. I'm coming in to change because I know it's my purpose and my passion. And the only way we can say that we successfully did the things that we want to do in life is by doing it. And God opened that door for me to be able to be that door. And it was hard back then, but I'm so thankful that it was a trial that I went over. As I always tell people, it was just something that I grew through to be able to help people in this time and in this space that I'm doing now. I had to grow through that 10 and a half years of overwhelming but great trauma that I'm here now. So,
Thank you for sharing that testimony. Thank you for sharing that. Because when we say 10 and a half
yeah,
years, you have put in blood, sweat, tears.
yeah,
You probably had overfunction, overgave. And then because you spoke up, and then I'm even
yeah,
thinking, can only imagine all the times you didn't speak up, all the times
yes,
you didn't speak up. And so when you spoke up, I can only imagine how scared you must have been, and to be that courageous and brave, and then to have invested so much of your life, so much of your
so
energy to then be released. And now on the other side of it can say it was for your good. It was all for
yeah.
your good.
It was hard. I can tell you that at first, probably 2 or 3 years ago, with I couldn't speak about this without crying. And they say when you start knowing you're doing your work, when you can teach other people do it, and I'm successfully able to talk about it now. So I know that I've gone through that healing time because I will boohoo cry. Because, like you said, hey, we're social workers. We're here to help people. And I was in a setting at a nonprofit that was just that, to help people on there, and gave my life. I basically say, like I said, right after college, I went right into that job, and it was no looking back. So it was devoted time. And again, nonprofit means 40 plus plus plus. So it was definitely a devoted, and a lot of time, a lot of stuff that I gave up for it. But again, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for their journey.
And thank you so much, because I'm thinking about our audience, and they're either thinking about it's time to leave a job, or I know for me, I don't know if you've experienced this, but when you stay too long, that's how you end up getting pushed out. Go ahead, where you
And
can.
that's what happened. I
Mm-hmm.
love that you said it.
Mm-hmm.
I made several dates that I said I was gonna leave. I had started transitioning of learning more about real estate, doing those different things. I was already working on my nonprofit too that I have and wanted to expand that. And I kept saying, the first of the year, Lord, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave again, y'all. March, I'm gonna leave. I kept giving these dates of when I'm gonna leave, or making excuses when I'm gonna leave. And God said, since you keep making excuses, I'm gonna go ahead and push you out. Because I'm tired of your excuses. And I'm gonna push you out. And that's the thing about God. When you don't do it on your time, he's God, he's your father. He gonna discipline. So it hurt. He had to whoop me a little bit to be able to say, next time when I say leave, move. It was 3 years I had already been saying that I was going to leave, and time was already, because I was getting the overwhelm. I was getting the anxiety. I was burnt out. I was just like, I know it's time for a change. This is not a place for me. The direction it was going, the things that they was doing, I was just like, it's not me. It was so bad that even after I stopped working there, or even after they let me go, all of a sudden I used to have pains in my stomach. I used to just feel sad and everything going to work. And I went to my doctor and I got a checkup, and she was like, "You looking, you glowing." I'm like, "Glowing? I'm hoping my insurance gonna go through here because they let me go." And went to my therapist. She said, "You just sound so good." I'm like, "What did it mean?" And I started watching. I was sick. Every morning I got up to go to work, I would get so overwhelmed. I would have migraines. I would just be like, God, what is going on with my body? But my body was so fed up that I was sick. Later on Sunday nights, I would be in the bed tied up like I was having cramps. My body had already broke down. And y'all, we have to listen to the signs of our body. We have to listen to what we're going through, because our body and our emotions is going to tell us before anything else. And I would still get up that morning, sassy my tail up them stairs, get in that office, close the door, cry for 3 to 5 minutes, and then come back out and say, "Hey, what y'all need me to do? What's going on? Oh, go to the next place." And the same time, I'm looking at the clock, count down every minute to go home so I can get back in the bed, and I do it all over again. So it was an awful time, and it was funny that I did look back. I said, God, you kicked me out of there because you knew I was going to continue to make excuses. But how he did it, it was just like, not only am I going to do it in a way that you're going to know it's me, but you're going to also take this lesson with you, because these was people that I started a job with, that I babysitted their kids, I coached their kids, I talked to their kids. And so he said, I'm going to remove everybody from around you so you can only hear me. And that's definitely what he did during that time.
In it, in it, in it. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, I love what you said too. There was so much of this. Oh, Erika, thank you so much for this testimony. But the thing about I'll take everybody from you so that you'll know that it's me. But people now see you, Coach Perry, on the other side of this, and they're like, "Oh, look at her. She's doing it. She's a social worker. She's a coach. She has her own whatever, right?" But they see that and don't know the stumbling that, even though God took you from that and took the people away, this wasn't like this graceful journey to Coach
No,
Perry. Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about that? It was a
definitely
lot of
not.
falls and stumbles, I'm sure. Yeah.
Like you said, gracefully broken. It was definitely a lot of stumbles, definitely a lot of falls, and I'm still stumbling for. I tell people that every day. It's still doors that I'm knocking on that people are not allowing me in. I make it look good because God is good, but trust. as my platform is Behind the Door, where we talk just about that. Being behind that door, we go through, we struggle, we have problems because we are fighting to help someone else. Anytime you're doing something and it's not the well being of other people, you're going to go through challenges. You're going to go through strife from people. And it's definitely have been there. Doors closed after doors closed. And I believe slowly a lot of doors have been closed in ways because I was allowed to see how things was 10 years ago. So I know I'm not accepting it now. So I check it at the door. And that comes just with my emotional willpower that I have now of studying emotional intelligence, of having that willpower to say no, that everything that looks good is not good. I've turned down speaking engagements because it doesn't align or fit with my purpose. Again, if you would have had 10 years ago, I would have been excited to help anything, any organization. But God has to grow you so you can get there. Those things that I turned down, did it affect me? Yes, because I got bills like everybody else. But I had to say, God, I'm going to depend on you on this. And a lot of circles I'm no longer in or part of too. And that has been a big thing because a lot of people I used to do things where they're like, hey, I need you here, I need you there. And I'm like, no, that time ran out. That's expired. I'm not going to be everything for everyone no more. I can't do that because I burnt myself out spreading myself thin on that. I lost a lot of things. I also work with a lot of people that I did engagements with and I never heard anything back, nor did I never receive a check. But again, emotional intelligence, or being emotional enough to say, you know what? Let me look at this. Let me think through this. Why did I go through this situation again? How did I put myself in this situation? And what shall I do to continue on that this doesn't happen to me again? Because everything we have to look at life of what do we get out of these lessons that we're getting into? So, as you said, it hasn't been peaches and cream. It's still not. I know everything will get better, but I just really think in life, if we're not going through some form of challenges or trials, then we're not learning. So, I wouldn't take away the trials and the tribulations for me to learn and get better because of those things. I'm here now and I'm able to speak again on this platform and hopefully enlighten and helping someone that may be challenging or going through something, saying it's okay. You went through that storm, but I promise you, every storm that we go through, we can use that storm.
That's what they call wisdom. That's what we get wisdom, not from textbooks. I in social work, you get the graduates, the new graduates coming out, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, this doesn't look anything like what they said in the classroom or in the
At
textbook
all, it's
at
not.
all." Right? It's through that lived experience that we gain wisdom, and then I believe we weren't just given that wisdom or had that lived experience just to hold on to it for ourselves.
Right.
It is to share with other people, to be like, I may not be the exact same thing you're going through, but I know that energy. And let me tell you some of the things that I've done. Let me tell you some of the things that I've seen other people do. And that's how we get that lived wisdom. Can I speak to something else? You know how you said um, you turned down some things that may not have been, and or you might have had some goals that didn't pan out, or some doors might have closed. I just had this the last 2 or 3 weeks, and this is my new philosophy or theory. It's because it's too small. That was too small.
Mm.
God has something so much bigger for
Yes,
you
I
that
received
if
it.
you had
Mhm.
gotten that thing, you would have been
Yes,
locked into something because society and our own structural goals are like, this is the next step, this is what I should be doing
yes,
next. But getting into that, I remember I wanted to be on the board of social work exam. I don't even know why. It was a very brief, but I did all the work to get, and I didn't get on it. And I was
hmm
so relieved.
at the end, like,
That,
my
you know
God,
what I
yes,
mean? Because I would have then been seen as a certain type of social worker who had to say certain types of things because I'm now representing this organization or agency. I'm so grateful that I didn't get accepted to that thing, because what God had for me is so, the voice, the platform, is so much bigger than Alabama.
so
You know
much
what I mean?
bigger.
So much
Yes,
bigger than just the social workers in Alabama or the people in
yes,
Alabama. And so to me, I'm like, yeah, doors are being shut and our plans didn't pan out. And it may look like I'm doing it really good over here, but
Mhm.
It is because that thing was too small, and God says, I have something bigger for you.
Got something bigger and greater. Yes.
And I love you said patience is being a part of emotional intelligence. I literally was talking about that just an hour ago because I do believe patience is a part of being emotionally intelligent. And
Mhm.
as you are building and stumbling and gracefully broken doing the thing and making mistakes, having lived experience, gaining wisdom, the thing is
Mhm.
it takes patience to get to that full harvest.
Yes.
But are you enjoying the journey?
I'm enjoying the harvest. I'm learning so much
Mm-hmm.
about me. I am a better woman, a better friend, a better sister, most definitely a better daughter. You know, growing up as someone that was teased about emotions, that was just a strife in a relationship me and my mom had. So being just a better daughter, someone that can come to her mom and express herself. I really didn't know how to express myself because, as you know, we social workers with our background, the work that we do, everybody feel like we want to fix everything when you come. You got something to say about everything. But through my work of learning about my emotions, who I am, and how to express those, made me a better communicator. I love when I go into rooms now and I can pick up on different things and different cues because I've done and I'm doing and will continue to do the work of me. So it makes the journey even much greater. Some rooms when I go into, like you say, I'm so excited because I go in a room and I know they asking me to do something. But when I get in a room, I already know this not for you. I thank you for being in this room. I thank you for the networking and the connections. But I can go ahead and say no. And I can say no strong and boldly when I leave out that room because I've been doing the hardest work on me. And that just feels so good when I can go in a room and say, okay, because sometimes we get in a shell when we go in different rooms and places and we kind of put ourselves in there and say what we have to do, or we're confined in it, or I gotta be a part of this, or it gonna hurt me if I'm not. No, I've done the work on me. I'm doing the work on me. I'm okay if it doesn't work. I know this is not for me, and it feels so good. The growth is so great. I think I'm in the best part of my life right now of just continuous journey of growth, and I'm loving every day of it. The patience, just loving on other people because I understand more of the patience that they need, and I understand their emotions more. So my empathy for them is even much better.
It's the patience and the trust that it was all for
Mhm.
your good. Because that thing that you used to cry about just 2 years ago, and now you can see on the other
Ooh.
side of it that it was all for your good. Now that you're going through this other thing, like, oh, I thought this was going to pan out or this was going to happen.
Mhm.
You can, because you had this lived experience, that was always all for your good. That's all you keep telling yourself. I'm patient and I trust because I know this is all for my good.
Yes, ma'am.
I love it. I want to hear more about your YouTube channel, Behind the Doer. Can you tell me
Yeah.
why you started it and what's this all about?
Oh, yes. Just as we talked about when I got that mantra and epiphany of being a doer to change that you want to see. And a lot of us in the work that we do, we are definitely doers. We do what we do and we do it well. But behind that door, we have pain, we have that anxiety, we have that depression, we have that overwhelm, and nobody talks about that. And I wanted to build up a platform where people are able to come and be able to say, oh, me too. I'm going through that too. I experienced that. I lived that. Me too. Oh, I was laid off. Me too. I got rejected from this. Me too, because sometimes we have to and we need that relatability. A lot of people are struggling because they feel like it's just them. In the small time the Lord has blessed me with and the things I've been to, everything, like I said, we go through is to grow through and to help somebody else. It's not for us. So we all are going through something. So that was my thing, to make a platform as I continue to work on this platform, to allow people in youth serving leadership as well as sports to be able to just come on and talk about the real. Yes, I love my job, but I'm tired. Yes, I love my job, but these kids wear me out. Yes, I love my job, but the parents are overwhelming. Yes, I love my job, but sometimes I don't even want to get up and go into doing. Yes, I love what God doing, but I'm tired. I'm really tired, and I need somebody else to talk to because I'm at the verge of saying I don't even want to do this anymore. And that was kind of something when I coach. I also coach for over 10 plus years too as well. And I got burnt out. I got overwhelmed and I quit coaching. Again, because of my past experience, it did affect me too, because it was a little around the same time I got laid off. But that live experience allowed me to help other coaches as I mentor other young women and coaches going through this channel and this cycle of having boundaries. I didn't have a lot of boundaries when I was a young coach. So a lot of things went done that should not have with parents and all those. But I was overwhelmed and I didn't talk about it. So now I have a platform where coaches can say, yes, I'm tired of the parents calling me. Yes, I want more for the kids. Yes, it's more than just winning championships. What about saving the lives of these babies? So again, behind the door is just for that, for us to really talk about what's really going on, to relieve that stress, but also bring people come on and they just talk about what are some things youth leaders can do to help with their wellness as well. Because it's good to talk about it and get it out, but what's next? And that's why I have leaders to come on too, and I'm working on more of that coming into the new year of having people to really come on and speak and pour into those leaders because as we know, economy and just society is really heavy focus on the young adults. But what about the leaders that's leading these young adults? We have to make sure we have well leaders to be able to have well youth.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love sports. Well, I'll say I love the NFL. and we are
Okay.
and we are currently in football season. Anybody who knows me knows that Monday, Thursday, and Sunday nights are my
Oh my
football time. Yes, I
God.
watch. It
Okay.
doesn't matter what team, I'm going to be watching it. But one of the things that I think about all the time, because obviously, I've been a social worker for over 2 decades. So, watching sports for me is about listening to the stories of the players. I love listening to the stories. Even then, this
Mhm.
has nothing to do with the question I'm about to ask you, but last night getting to watch Philip Rivers come back at the age of 44 after he had been retired for 4 or 5 years. Even though they've lost 2 games, he has been so inspiring and so encouraging.
His
And
patience has
yeah,
been off the roof of just
isn't it?
seeing how he step in that position, so poised.
Mm.
And just being authentic in himself. I love that you said that was something that I caught last night. It's like he's just so authentic. No matter how much time he gonna take on that clock, telling everybody where to go, he's gonna do it because he has something that he's repped and did so much, and it's authentically him.
It is authentically him, and I love watching his family, his kids, the
Mhm.
boys he is, coaching, and right here in Alabama, Fairhope, Alabama,
Wow.
and it's just such an inspiring thing. But even before Phillip Rivers, and I used to watch a little bit of NBA, I would think often, and I still think this very often, that social work needs to be in the sports world. And so one of the reasons I was super excited about having you on is, one, you are a social worker, but you're also a coach, right? And
Uh-huh.
there's another layer to this, Erika, that I often talk to my social workers that I have the privilege of supervising about bringing the thing that you're passionate about, like your quote behind you, do what you love, bringing the
Yeah.
thing that you're passionate about into the profession of social work and combining those things. And it may not look like anything anyone else has done, but it's that
Right.
passion and that I guess we'll even say education, that now you're able to offer this thing and it looks authentically you, just like Philip Rivers last night. And but
Mhm.
also it's something that is a gift to the world. Talk to me about, how did you bring social work and coaching together? I'm super excited about that part of your journey.
Well, that was my goal on my journey also of coaching. Again, there's growing up life growing up and everything, and the emotional aspect led me to go into social work. I always wanted to help people. That has always been a part of it. It wouldn't social work, it probably would have been teaching, which teaching is through coaching. And I played ball. I played sports from elementary all the way up to collegiate. So I was blessed to play basketball. As I said, sports was my relief through everything that I was going on at home. So initially, when I stopped playing, I had to go back into it. So soon as I came back from college and I started working, actually my job that I had the tenure of 10 years on, and my coach found out I was back at home and was like, hey, I need you coaching. My first actual coaching job was back at the middle school that I played. So it was definitely amazing to be able to go back there. My coach that I still call Pops now, that took on more of a father role for me growing up, I went on in, I was able to actually coach alongside of him and went from coaching alongside to coaching and developing teams myself. But because of the work that I do in coaching young girls, even though I had the pleasure of coaching boys to coaching young girls, I knew some of the things that they was going through from my aspect. A lot of the girls was playing because they was me. They was my mirror. They was going because they had things going on at home. And mine from was from abuse, sexual assault, emotional abuse, mental abuse, things that I was experiencing. I can see into those young babies because that was the reason why I was in social work. God gave me that to be of help to other people. So as I started coaching, it only invaded where I won't say it only exploded. I mean, to be able to now you can be able to do this even more on the coaching side. You can really talk to these girls. You can really see things what goes on. So I had the pleasure of my first two coaching jobs where the coaches and the ADs gave me that way, hey, come sit down with the girls, talk to them more. They would tell me, we want you to talk to them more. We know you understand you have the joy of your work to be able to do it. So I built their relationships with so many young girls of understanding them, giving them that safe environment, that emotional safety that, coach, we can come talk to you about any and everything. Along my last year of actual coaching, had a great team. We had been winning championships, had started an amazing AAU traveling team and doing all that with these young girls. But as I moved into this other team, I wanted to do more with the girls, which was more of mentorship because my nonprofit had including mentorship. So I wanted to bring that into the schools because a lot of the girls at that time was just going through so much. And it was hurting them. Yes, we was winning. Just like behind the door, we was winning, but my babies was hurting. A lot of them I can tell when they was leaving, they was telling me certain things that was just observed for a 12 or 13 years old, or even my 16-year old. And it was breaking my heart. So I went to actually the leading AD at that time and said, hey, I understand that we're winning is great, but I need more time with these babies. I need more time to talk to them about real life. I need more time to talk to them about the things that's going on. This winning can go out the door. And after that conversation, it was my last year of coaching, as that AD told me, Coach Perry, if we put more time and focus on helping them about stuff at home, we won't win championships. And I knew then that was my time to get up out of it. Because I said I didn't come in just to win championships. I came in to help babies in their lives. I couldn't keep that going on, and I know that they were struggling. So it was another time in my life where I felt like I did at that point. I felt like I left these babies down. I mean, I boohoo cried because I knew sports got me out of so much. And I was like, how am I going to tell them I'm not coming back? Thankful a lot of those girls was transitioning into either college or high school, but it was still that some of them from elementary to now still talk to them. We had AAU, but my heart was too heavy. My shoulders was hurting. It was burning with just so much on me. And I said, I can't continue to take this on in my life. And for that social worker, we get into it, we want to do so much, but it's you have to know when to say no. Enough is enough, and I can't carry this load anymore. And that was me. I couldn't carry the load anymore. And I told him, well, if I can't focus on helping them, which is the main thing, because 9 times out of 10, only 1% of these girls are going to go to the collegiate level. This ain't for me. I'm helping with lives. I'm helping them become better women. I'm helping them become better men. I'm helping them to be able to express themselves. I'm helping them to be able to get out of some harsh situations where I know some of them are getting abused at home. And that's what God brought me in this environment for. He brought me to talk to them. I can win at anything, but winning and helping God saving lives, there's no exception. So that was my last year of coaching after that. So I was still able to implement it in some form of fashion there with it. And now I'm continuing to just doing the work in my way, doing it myself in my business now. Yeah.
I only love when we get to do it our way.
Yes, Lord.
Yes. I was thinking while you were talking, I can't remember the name of the player, but it's week 16, 17 in the NFL. And so all the players are just getting banged up, a whole lot and getting hurt, a lot of torn ACLs and all this. But it was a rookie player and the coach came back after halftime. I watched all the games, so I can't remember which game it was, but the coach came back after halftime and he was like, yeah, he had a lower leg injury. The rookie player did, and the coach came back and he said, I had a few minutes to spend with him, and my heart goes out to him, but you know, well, he's going to be all right, and he'll get over
Mm-hmm.
this hump or whatever. I just so appreciated that coach because you only get 10 minutes in halftime, and
Mm-hmm.
two of those minutes are going in and out of the stadium or whatever. But I so appreciate he took some time to go and talk to that young man that even though he wasn't playing anymore and probably out for the rest of the season, he still took that halftime minute to go and talk. And I was like, that's the kind of coach I would want to play for.
Because you want to be
Thinking
seen.
of the other players who were still going to have to go out there on the field, did the coach, watching the coach's behavior, did he go see? Because I could be just like him in the next play, hurt and not able. But does the coach really care about me, or does he just care about the win?
The win, or do he really value me? Do he really
Mm-hmm.
see me and want to
Mm-hmm.
know that I'm loved?
Yeah.
Like, and that was with me from every player from the 1 to the 12 or the 14 I had on my team. Every one of my babies, every one of those girls knew that they was loved, and I seen them, I value them, and I know they always know. And I told them, you're important. I don't mind if your
Mm-hmm.
clapping is important. You showing up is important. You being here is important. So each and every one of them, I would have some of my parents where they be like, Coach Perry, I know my baby can't play, but she be so happy. She's so happy to be a part of this because you just make her feel so good. She be so excited when she come here and practice. When we would travel, they be like, Coach, I don't want to spend all my money because I know this girl ain't gonna get in the game. But she's in a positive environment. She enjoy you and she's got discipline being around you. And I'm like, yeah, because no, she's gonna get in. I don't care if it's 2 or 3 minutes. Every last one of them is valued because they value me to be able to come here and be a part of this environment. So I'm gonna value you, no matter
Uh,
how old or young you are. I value you.
or how good a player you are.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not the best player on the team is just as important
Just as important.
as the one who's clapping on the bench. I think the
Yeah.
one clapping on because I'm the clapper on the bench and I'm the
Mhm.
one encouraging you and cheering you on. Yeah.
Somebody got to keep us hype and keep us going and dapping up. And that was the
Yes.
thing. We had those. I would tell them, hey, you're going to be a great player on the bench or a great player off the bench. So whichever one of them, choose yours and choose the
Be the
one to be the
best.
best. Yes.
Yes, yes, be the best. I'm gonna be the best cheerleader. I promise you
Yes.
that. I'm staying a long time on this, but I do really seriously have a visual of social work in the sports industry. Can
Mhm.
you see that, or and in what way could you see
Oh,
that?
most definitely. Social
Mm-hmm.
work, and that's where my skills came at. My
Yeah.
skills of social work are just being able to identify and being aware of things that, my youth was going through started in those schools and sports because I was able to look at how they showed up to practice, how they showed up to the game, how they expressed themselves in the game. So sports social work is definitely needed of having that confidence and someone that you can talk to and you can express your emotions with about the challenging things that you're going through. And most important, we really gonna say at least 40 to 50% of our student athletes are playing sports, as I said earlier, because they're getting out of certain lifestyle, things that are going on at home. Some of them are not eating because you got amazing coaches like myself and others that we made sure we had weekend practice. We're going to have food because a lot of those babies, they're not in school, so they're not eating. So that social work is so valuable to be able to be positioned in these schools to say, okay, what's going on at home? How are you feeling? Are you going home and then you actually getting a good shower at home and doing those things? I had a young lady that, doing AAU season, it was the best for her because she got an actual shower every night. I noticed during the season that some of her hygiene wasn't there. As the background in social work, one of the things every year I had my parents, they all brought hygiene products and we had hygiene bags that we gave to every kid. So we didn't feel like we was outing any kid, but if one kid needed a little bit more before the season is over, I'd be like, hey, Shay, I bought you this. I got you a little extra. But if I didn't have that background to identify those needs, like other coaches, it's just, man, they just coming to practice. Just let them go to practice. Let them keep going. But I seen beyond the sports. I seen the need of what was going on. So it was even more favorable for me to sit down and say, okay, we finna end practice early. Just tell me how you doing. How y'all, what's going on? How school go? How class go? And allow them to express themselves and again feel like a human and not just a basketball player or a student that's in there just because people love them because they're athlete. No, I love you because you're whole. So social work in sports is so valuable of understanding the needs that our youth need, especially I would say with NIL and so much going on. Yes, you had a sports psychologist, and I kind of rupture on both of them with psychology and social work, but I think psychologists have this aspect too of working and dealing with things more of the mental and emotional side, but also with the social work, we see more of the tangible things, the resources and the needs. So those are two separate and also can be together though. Yes, right now you're dealing with some emotional mental things. How can we work through that? But also they got some scarces going on of resources that they need. This college student is getting this NIL money, but he wants to send everything back home to mom and dad. How do we help them get these resources in the community? What are resources in the community that can make sure his family have these things and nobody take over on them or use them. So that social work aspect can come in so many different variations. And again, because of my background in it, I would say I was able to be the amazing sports coach that I was, and I still say am. That's why I still use Coach Perry. That is like my love language. That is something that really brought me out of a dark place. And anytime people always say, "Why you still use Coach Perry?" Because being a coach was a part of an athlete that helped me become the woman that I am now. And social work just was like a violin to it with everything. So most definitely.
I love that. And I'm like, yes, you still are Coach Perry. Absolutely. Even
Yes.
if it's not on the field, you're still coaching, the coaches and the colleagues and the peers and the people that you. So I think, like you said, teaching is coaching, social work is coaching. Yeah. So you're definitely Coach Perry. I have a
Mhm.
question though, especially when you're talking about, getting yourself out of hard times after the 10-year, it sounds like coaching and the job both kind of just, it was like you had a huge tower moment. The Babel
Yeah.
Tower just fell down all around you, and now you've rebuilt. And what I'm hearing is that you have to collaborate with a lot, with with your YouTube channel and the nonprofit that you're having to collaborate with other agencies and organizations. you how has it been for you coming out of isolation where everything that you knew for 10 years and the people and the places, and then having to recreate these new collaborations? And again, with that gracefully broken part that we're talking about, how has
Mm-hmm.
that been for you coming out of isolation to now, again, being on a team, but a team that you're creating?
It has been hard. It's been
Mm-hmm.
frustrating. It's been work. Again, everything I'm looking at now is how can I continue to enjoy this journey doing it? Because like you said, it's like a whole new area. As we talked before, I said behind the door, God has his way. Because I'm like, God, you really want me to do this again? Because I was doing a little some years ago, but I don't know if you want me to do this, but I've just been meeting some amazing people on there of being able to be an advocate for them to speak about what they're struggling with and what they're going through and being able to get that off their chest. So that has been definitely a 360 of how I'm approaching people, different ways that I'm coming on social media now, from people just knowing me from just being just Coach Perry, just talking about my coaching and my youth to the work that I actually do with youth, but also youth leaders and how valuable and needed it is because I was that burnt out coach. I was that burnt out youth leader. So reaching out to people now and getting people to actually respond or connect, as you know, has been challenging and it can be frustrating. I had the pleasure of a lady named Dr. Karen about 2 weeks ago come on my platform, and I will be getting that out. And she just spoke about so many people in youth serviceship, especially women. We have to be okay with cracking the door and helping other people come in. But we get in that door and we close it and we close it tight and we lock it because we don't want nobody to get in instead of helping people. So it has been kind of challenging of seeing how many people actually close the door. Of me saying this is why I got to continue to do the work on this platform to uplift people and to inspire people and to gear people towards the right thing because if you don't, you will get into that mode of why me or I can't do this. So it's definitely been a transition. Again, I'm loving it. It is work because it is a new light. LinkedIn has become my best friend. I was scared of LinkedIn. Didn't know how to use LinkedIn. I'm still working when it comes to LinkedIn, but it's definitely become my best friend to just gain more information and meet more amazing people like yourself. So it's definitely it's work, but I'm up for it. I'm an athlete, so I'm always ready to play ball anytime. Put me in the gym. I'm playing, coach.
Oh, you're definitely an athlete. I love that.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah. Put me in, coach. Put me in. You know, when you were talking about people closing doors, I guess I never thought about. I'm saying it again in this framework. I've never thought about because uh, for me, I have the Goddesses of Social Work supervision community, and I'm super excited. I'm just going to brag just a little bit. Since May 2025, and it is December 2025, we've had 11. I just got a text message at 9:30 this morning. 11 women get clinically licensed.
Oh wow, that's
That's a
amazing.
6 month period. They've been with me for a couple of years. They
Amazing.
finish their supervision and then they take their license exam. And 11 of them, this as of this morning, have passed and are now clinically licensed. And I was thinking to myself, that's life changing wealth right there.
Yeah.
That's life changing health. That's life changing in their communities that they're going to be serving. That is what we call legacy, right? And so when
Hmm.
you're talking about the doors that are being closed, one of the things that I'm like, I'm not closing no doors around here. You know what I mean? I'm a clinical social worker, but in 6 months, I have been a part of 11 women getting their clinical license. And one of
Very
the
blessed.
mindsets that I have is that I serve a God of 1,000 heals. You know what I
Come
mean? Like
on.
if there's one heal and a lot of people are eating on it now, I got 999 other heals
Yes.
can go to. But that leads me to the last question I'm going to ask you. When we talked about, because I didn't know, but I know because I've been there and I've done that. When you're supposed to have been done, left a place, and you done
Yeah.
told God, I'm going to leave after this paycheck, or I'm going to leave after we do this audit, or I'm going to leave when this person comes back from maternity leave. And then you got to get pushed out. I want you to talk to Coach Perry, the audience members who are like, I know I'm supposed to leave, but I'm scared, or I know that I need to pivot in my career because I'm even thinking about the pivots, the 999. We're not saying throw everything away,
Hmm.
but how can you pivot and get in more alignment with what it is that you are really good at and what you came on this planet to do? So would you talk to, as our final question, those women or those social
Hmm.
workers and our people listening who are scared to leave?
Mhm. I would definitely say first what you just said was get in alignment. Something that I had to do and something that I love is journaling. And that was something
Hmm.
at that point I had to do. I had to journal. I started putting down and said, what do I want to do? Is these things aligning with me? Are they helping me? Are they hurting me? That's when I started noticing the pain. So some of you guys may be going through irritability. Some of you guys are waking up and you don't want to even get up out your bed, or it's that job starting to feel like a burden instead of help. Is it where you getting overwhelmed even when talking to the people that you say you're serving and you're helping? Is that overwhelming talking to them? Start looking at some of those things. And if so, it's time to leave. And understanding burnout does not mean you don't like your job. Burnout means there's just not boundaries or alignment there. And it's time for you to do more. You may be at just a season in your life where you need elevation and you've been doing the same thing over and over. And it's so daunting that you don't even want to do the work no more because you feel like I've done it all. And if that's you, then it's also time to move on. But pivot also wisely. Pivot wisely means make sure you have something backed up. I promise you, God, He's going to have you. I'm a living testimony that I've been through it. I've been through, and God is still here. Thank God I still got my roof over my head. Have some stuff not got paid? Yes. I'm going to be real. Some things have happened. I had some crying nights. I had some crying nights. As my parents used to say, I had to go from Paul to Peter sometimes, even being at my age, but it was able to help me with this journey that I had to. Because if I continue to say, let me look at this check, or you continue to say, let me look at this money, you will continue to get miserable in what you're doing. So map it out. We going into a new year. Map out. What are your pros? What are your cons? How is it making me feel? Can I do better? That's the most important question. Ask yourself, do I deserve better? Can I do better? That's a tough question right there. Because if you feel like you deserve better, you want to do better, and most important, you went to school for this. You paid money for this. You should want better. When you actually cross that line of graduation, you said to serve people and serve people with all your heart and be able to be there for people. You can't be there for people if you're not feeling well, if you're burnt out, or you have doing the job because you don't like where you're at. Don't do God's people like that. So I say, think about it, weigh the cons, and definitely say, look, if it's not where I need to be, it's time for me to go. And be okay with knowing that even with your pivot, it may not be where you want to be right now, but God will always bring you back. He's going to bring you back to where you want to be, but also He can elevate you if He can't trust you. So if He can't trust you to lead something, He won't never elevate you. And as me speaking to you from it was, God could elevate me to the work that I'm doing now because I was still somewhere else. I said I want to get to another place, but He couldn't have elevate me to the work that I'm doing now because I didn't trust that if I let it go, He would do His job as my Father. Now I'm blessed traveling, doing conferences and talking to people. Yes, I have different consulting jobs, but I love what I do. I love what I do. Am I getting paid the money that I'm supposed to? Not yet, but due season is coming. God already told me that it's coming. It's right around the corner. So I'm so excited because I've already put my harvest in. So put your harvest in now. It gonna be some times where you gotta plant those seeds and you gotta do all those and water them with your tears, but due season is there. But you got to have that faith to be able to say, it's time for me to pivot. It's time for me to let this go. So I hope this helped in some form or fashion. I probably went out long around the way, but I hope it's a blessing to someone.
It absolutely is. It was a blessing to me. It was a, I want to just say one last little thing too before we go. One of my clients said this to me and it really just hit home. She said, Renita, you're worth the effort. And it was
Mm,
about, I don't remember what it was about, but it was the effort that it's going to take for you to transition or to pivot. That whole week I just kept telling myself if I had to put a little bit of effort into something, I was like, Renita, you're worth the effort. You're worth
yes.
the effort. You're worth the effort. And I just want to, you're worth it. I just wanted to make sure our audience members know that they are absolutely worth The
Yeah.
effort that they have to put in to make that change or that pivot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Erika, thank you for taking the time to share this conversation and this season of your life with us. I appreciate your honesty and the way
Thank
you spoke
you.
about growth, risk, and learning to move differently as you evolve. Today's conversation was a reminder that the work always starts with the person behind it. And we're going to make sure Behind the Doer YouTube link is in your podcast description so that people can
Yeah.
subscribe, can watch, and can get elevated and motivated. I'm so inspired after talking to you. So yes,
Thank
we're gonna make sure
you.
that link is in that podcast description. But for the listeners, thank you guys for listening. This has been the Goddesses of Social Work podcast. I have been your host, Renita Ray Davis, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah.